And joining me live now to discuss these two most crucial and urgent security issues facing the new government is Lieutenant General KJS Dhillon, popularly known as General Tiny Dhillon. He's former GOC of the Srinagar Corps, the 15 Corps, someone who has been Chief of the Defence Intelligence Agency and as a soldier and officer operated in all of India's disturbed areas and conflict zones, including the northeast, including Jammu, including the Kashmir Valley. General Dhillon, always a pleasure, sir. Thank you so much for your time on these issues of very urgent national security. I want to take them one by one. First with Jammu, and then we'll go to Manipur. In Jammu, sir, starting with last year when we've seen periodic attacks in the Rajouri-Poonch axis. This year, starting from the day of the swearing-in, pilgrim buses being attacked, and a variety of other attacks in different parts of the Jammu sector, clearly showing that there is a pattern, there is a deliberate design and an attempt to, elevate the levels of violence in Jammu because of restrictions happening in the Kashmir Valley. What is your assessment of this recent spate of attacks in Jammu, sir?
Thank you, Shiv, and good evening to you and all your viewers. Firstly, talking about Jammu region. Pakistan as a nation is behind creating trouble in Jammu and Kashmir. They found Kashmir to be easy hunting ground for last 3.5 decades. Now that after 5th of August 2019, Kashmir is becoming more and more difficult to operate from the Pakistani point of view. They tried, if you remember, in the last few odd months, lone wolf attacks, killing minority community people, killing the laborers who are non-state, citizens. But the best thing about Kashmir was all those killings were handled and the killers or the terrorists were eliminated within a very short span of time. So the shelf life of the terrorists to indulge in such things in Kashmir was very, very limited. Hence, they found Kashmir to be a hard place to operate.
Yes.
So they were showing signs for last more than a year now that they would shift focus towards Jammu. There have been incidents last year. There have been incidents in this year also. And now, in last about 1 week or so, there have been 4 major incidents in Jammu, Doda, and Rajouri, Jhansi region. Now, this is a pattern which is well known. Whenever there is a pressure in one place, that is in Kashmir, because of Article 370 abrogation, development coming in, tourists coming in, and the intelligence flow is happening. People do not want terrorism to come back.
Correct.
Now they find it difficult there, so they hit in Jammu. Aim is to keep Jammu and Kashmir in the international news so that people do not forget about it. And more so, their internal constituency, the domestic audience of Pakistan.
Yes.
Because Pakistan internally is so shattered now that they want to divert attention away from internal problems. May it be political, may it be military, may it be corruption, may it be price rise, and may it be other unrest. So, Jammu region, there are 3 things which we have to do.
Yes.
One, and the foremost is whatever gains we have achieved in the past, we should hold on to them and we should not allow them to slip away because of either our complacency or our feeling coming in that now everything is okay, now peace has returned, and now it's okay, we can look elsewhere. Second is, while maintaining the dividends which we have achieved or the gains we have achieved, bring normalcy in the state or in the region. That is by development, by job creation, by education restoration, by allowing the tourists to come in. The local population's income must grow. Once the local population's income grows, he becomes a stakeholder in peace.
Yes.
So if he's earning 2,000 today, when he was earning 500 6 months ago, he would not like to go back.
Correct.
And
Absolutely.
Third and most important from the security forces and intelligence agencies' point of view, the hard operations. When I say hard operations, the hard intelligence, the hard kills, the terrorist shelf-life to be reduced to nil, that must happen. Then only this game will become expensive for them. If a terrorist can indulge in an act and then live for another 5 years,
yes,
that means we are not doing a job.
Would it, General
I'll be
Dhillon,
very
would it
candid
require
about it.
some harsh measures? Would it require some harsh measures? Over the last week, as we've reported on this and we've spoken to experts, it has become clear that operations in the Kashmir Valley, operations in South Kashmir, operations in Jammu are very, very different and need to be approached differently in terms of terrain, in terms of demographic, in terms of population density, etc. What are the challenges that the government now faces in Jammu, sir? How do they need to go about it?
More than the government, I think it is the security forces level
security
thing,
forces.
Intelligence level thing. Because to carry out operations in a city, the intelligence can be transferred or transmitted easily. A person from North Delhi can come and meet you in South Delhi and give the intelligence or make a phone call. Whereas in rural areas, as existing in Kashmir Valley and Jammu and other regions, it is very difficult to maintain and re-establish an intelligence network once it cracks.
Correct.
So the continuity of intelligence network is a must in any counter-terrorist, counter-insurgency operations. Unfortunately, what appears to me is that over the years, since there are no operations happening, there are no terrorist activity happening, that intelligence network has taken a hit somewhere. And intelligence network comes from the local sources and the technical intelligence.
But would it...
Now it is very difficult to re-establish those sources which have dried out. And now they might feel even scared because if the terrorists have taken a hit, have carried out a hit, there is a little bit of a scare amongst the sources, especially human sources. So we have to make sure and operations can only be successful if intelligence is good.
Yes.
And it all boils down to synergy between the various forces, various intelligence agencies, and most importantly, the local administration and Awam. So that is where we have to work more. Any amount of additional forces, any amount of additional efforts will not pay dividends unless the hard, real, actionable intelligence is flowing. So
it will have to...
that is very important. We should never let the intelligence pipeline dry out.
So what is the solution for that, General?
Name of the game.
What is the solution for that? If you're saying that, more deployments is not necessarily the answer, not allowing this to actually grow is the urgent need of the day. How will the security forces do that? Is there an intelligence imbalance as far as Jammu is concerned vis-a-vis Kashmir?
I will not call it imbalance. What I'll call it in Kashmir, because operations are still continuing. Contacts are still happening.
Correct.
Terrorist activity here and there is still happening. So the machinery is well oiled. The coordination amongst the agencies and the intelligence is very good, including the civil atom. And Awam is cooperating because progress is happening, development is happening.
Yes.
So there, because of the continuity of operations, the intelligence network is continuing. What's happened, unfortunately, in Jammu region is because the operations had died down, the intelligence network also probably has taken a hit somewhere.
Right.
I'm not saying it is out and away.
No, that's an important
point. It is very much existing. We only need to refresh it.
Okay.
And once the intelligence network gets refreshed, the operations will keep happening. And why I'm saying is increase in forces is not the answer. Because the terrorism is still at a very, very low level.
Correct.
Number of incidents are very low.
Yeah.
By increasing the footprint of security forces, it has its allied problems.
Okay. So
we need to carry out the surgical intelligence-based small team operations.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we are not in a situation of 90s where we have 2,000 terrorists roaming around.
Right.
There are a very handful of them.
Yeah.
And if the intelligence is good, small teams can do the work for us.
Okay,
that is how it
That is actually very heartening to hear. And, hopefully the meetings that have taken place at the Home Minister level yesterday, the CDS level today, and onwards, as a new army chief coming into office as well, all of those decisions will be taken onward. Now, General Dhillon, from Jammu, I'd like to discuss Manipur. This is another place that you're familiar with. You've also operated there. Manipur has been going on for more than a year. May the 3rd last year is when violence started there. It is a much more tricky affair. This is not a textbook security situation. It is an inter-community violence that is taking place, stemming from a civilian issue. Obviously, all the security forces have gotten sucked into what has become a very, very difficult and messy kind of affair in Manipur. How do you see this playing out, sir? This is something that can also no longer be postponed. It has to be handled.
Shiv, for the benefit of the viewers, those of them, because Manipur and Northeast, most of people may not have the correct information or the background. You made a mention of 3rd of May and 1 year. I was a company commander in Churachandpur districts in 1998. And that is when Kuki and Naga these clashes had happened.
Yes.
And when I moved into with my company in Churachandpur district, southern Churachandpur, there are 52 villages in my area of responsibility, and 50 of them had been burned down when my company moved in to restore normalcy. So what's happening in Manipur is not new, and it is old issue. Inter-tribal rivalry, inter-tribal clashes, earlier it was Kuki Naga, now it is Kuki Maite, is there in Manipur ever since, because tribal loyalties are very, very strong.
Yes.
And over the years, all tribes have weaponized themselves. When I say weaponized themselves, they all have a small little insurgent group which supports their cause or which fights for them. All the villages in Manipur, more or less in these areas, which you referred to in your report also, Churachandpur, Baigama and all of them have a village defense forces. They all have either the weapons, proper weapons, or something called pumpy guns. The tubal wali pipe ke beech mein crude explosives, and they will just let go if they feel someone is trying to attack the village. So there is a lot of violence there. There are a lot of weapons there which have been infiltrated.
Right.
And in addition to that, narcotics is also playing a role. So Manipur is a very complex situation. It has to be handled at war footing. The sentiments of the tribal communities have to be assuaged. They have to be given confidence. The confidence restoration is the most important thing. These tribes have been living together with each other for centuries.
That's right.
That confidence has to be restored, the neighborly confidence, which has been restored in the past also, as and when there were clashes like I referred 1998.
Yes.
So we need to do that. It's more of a political and law and order situation where the NGOs, the ground level workers, the society, the community leaders, they all have to come together along with the officials and the agencies to restore normalcy, to restore confidence.
Yes.
That is the way forward. Military solution is not the way forward for situation in Manipur, unlike in Kashmir and Jammu.
All right.
Because here there are no terrorists. Here there are your own Indian citizens.
Correct.
Who are fighting amongst each other. And you need to restore their confidence level that they can stay peacefully without any harm being done to them or their property.
Absolutely.
Or their livestock.
No, you're absolutely
So
right.
This is the most crucial difference for Manipur vis-a-vis Jammu and Kashmir.
And
they are our own citizens.
Two vastly different challenges. General Dhillon, you've reminded us that, there are both security challenges in front of the government and the security forces, but they couldn't possibly be more different. One is dealing with terrorism. The other is dealing with your own people in an intercommunal conflict, a civilian strife that has led to an almost civil war-like situation in different parts of Manipur. Hopefully, it will be brought under control. But like you rightly said, the security response in Jammu is not the same kind that can be applied in Manipur. There, it has to be a political, government-led solution to bring the peace. The two big challenges that we've discussed threadbare. I'd like to thank General Dhillon for giving us his wisdom on, a story in motion. I always like describing these as stories in motion because things are changing all the time, something that men like General Dhillon are familiar with since they're in the military and are always ready for things changing on the fly. So I thank you for your inputs on this story. We'll be bringing you on board again soon as we continue to tackle the big national security issues of the day, General Dhillon. Thank you so much.
Thank you and Jai Hind.